All right, we are getting going with our next AI Masterclass. We're joined today by Anshuman Singh and Saman Singh from Sarah's AI Institute. And I'm really excited about this because we've been doing a lot of work over the last, it's been 4 or 5 months now that we've been working with Sarah's AI Institute on their AI upskilling program called The Powers of AI. And I've had my own son go through this program, switched his mindset from AI is evil, which really was his initial thought, to, oh, wow, this is a game changer for me. He was going into English literature with a minor in French and was thinking this is going to destroy culture as we know it. And so I had him go through this class on his career in AI, and every job's an AI job now. And so he's come back and said, you know what, Mom? I can now research papers better. I know how to do this, and I'm so excited to get back into my next semester knowing how to use AI. So thank you to Sarah's AI Institute from changing the mindset of my own family. But also we've had a lot of our Tech Mom students. We've had others going through the program. Just hundreds are being able to benefit from understanding the fundamentals of AI. But as I've worked with organizations that are sending their teams to upskill in AI, and others that are really trying to understand this space as this huge transformation is happening, one of the largest of all time. We're seeing disruption everywhere. The question is, what does this mean for me in my future? How do I reclaim my edge in the AI space and really understand how to harness the power of AI in my own job and role? So this conversation today is going to be really exciting. Anshuman, I would love for you to do a quick intro of your background and experience and how you got into this space, and just framing us up for the conversation that we're going to have today.
Sure. Thanks, Trina. Welcome, everyone. So I am currently the co-founder and chief academic officer at Sarah's AI Institute. We offer artificial intelligence courses and degree programs to students online around the world. I have been at deeplearning.ai before I was at Sarah's, and we made courses that reach to millions of learners around the world. So it's, as an educator, as an AI educator, my purpose in life has been to make AI accessible to people who want to get into this field, learn and benefit from AI. Before that, I had been in academia. I have been a professor. I did my doctorate in computer science, specializing in AI. I wrote many research articles and published my research, worked on many grants. So yeah, that's very briefly my journey into AI.
Yeah, a lot of deep background and experience that I'm sure everyone here today is going to be able to get value from. And the curriculum, especially, we've talked to a lot of different educators that are trying to spin up in this space. It's, if you've been in an education environment in the past, it's very different than what we're dealing with right now. And the amount of change and the pace of change, I'm sure those are all things that you're able to work within Sarah's AI Institute to be able to stay up to date on just the amount of mass change that's happening and the frequency of change, and as we pull people through this transformation along with us. And so thank you for sharing your background and experience here. We also have Samya on, who's working day to day with all of our students at Sarah's AI. Welcome, Samya. Glad to have you on with us as well. If you want to do a short introduction as we kind of kick off here.
Sure. Thank you, Trina. Thank you, Anshuman. Hi, everyone. My name is Soumya. I work as Chief AI Evangelist for Sarah's AI Institute, and we're so glad to have this event today. It would be like an awesome event for everyone who's joining us. Yeah.
Thank you, Soumya. Let's move in and get started on actual content and understanding the power. I love this, powers of AI. It's one where I feel like there's been a lot of fear in the past, right? When we say AI, I learned a new term this week. I don't want it to be inappropriate, but I got called a clinker on social media, and I had to AI what that meant. It's somebody that's moving forward. There's a lot of fear out there of AI is going to take our jobs. And I'm hoping today we can overcome this mindset shift of the negativity and fear and move that to more of a positive approach and what AI opportunities are. There is a lot of career opportunities available to everyone, and leaning into this space rather than avoiding or being upset or negative about the opportunities that are coming, learning how to lean in and take advantage of those. There is a massive opportunity here. And I think that's what's so exciting about what Sarah's AI is doing, is that it's helping people lean in and figure out what those are. And I think today we're going to have a conversation about all of those different opportunities that are there. So I'm going to start off with a question, Anshuman, that I know comes up all the time, because even just digging in and understanding the fundamentals of the taxonomy of what is AI, I'm going to have you explain this chart, which I love this because it really simplifies this complex world of AI. When we say AI, it's this, we are incorporating a lot of different concepts, and this really breaks it down. So can you take a few minutes and just breaking down these buzzwords of machine learning, deep learning, Gen AI, reinforcement learning? Can you help us understand just the basics to get started?
Yeah, sure. So, AI has been with us for, I would say, in everyday life with us for more than a decade now. It's just happens to be that we got to know of it through different names and different parts of AI. The term AI is essentially an umbrella term. It's a very broad field that incorporates a lot of different approaches to simulating or mimicking or getting inspired from human intelligence. So that's the biggest, broadest umbrella term. And within AI, there are other, different techniques, different methods. The one that has been around with us for quite some time now has been machine learning.
Mm-hmm.
And in fact, we probably heard things like predictive analytics maybe a few years back. That was a very popular term. And it turns out that it was machine learning that was powering a lot of these predictive analytics techniques that many companies use today. I mean, it is now a staple of all the number crunching data analytics to make predictions, and is now happening across the board. So, I mean, we have been seeing this already transforming different areas, different sectors of economy.
Yeah.
Within machine learning, we have another area called deep learning. It uses similar approaches as machine learning does, and that's why it's again a subset. You can see that bubble within machine learning. And deep learning particularly uses a type of model called neural nets. And neural nets, when they become really large, we call them deep neural nets. And they are able to learn from a lot more data than machine learning does. So if machine learning was able to, learn from, say, a few megabytes of data, deep learning can do so many orders of magnitude more than that. So, and it keeps getting better and better. So deep learning is the one that powers technologies like face recognition and speech synthesis and things like that. So again, deep learning has been around with us. We have already seen it and been using it almost on a daily basis. And it had a lot of positive impact on everybody's, I would say, life in many different ways. Generative AI is the newest kid in the block. It's like the one that it's making most news since last 3 years. And we see this being used in chatbots with ChatGPT and so many other models that have people use today. And this is again a kind of deep learning. It is a special form of deep learning, which is particularly good at generating large amounts of text, images, or even sounds and video. So it
And
uses
probably the
deep
one
neural nets. Yeah.
most everyone is familiar with Gen AI, right? ChatGPT. That's a
Yes.
generative AI. That's the one that people have the most accessibility to directly to benefit them in their role and their job today. I think what's interesting sometimes when I'm talking to companies or talking about starting AI and they're like, we're not doing AI, right? There are still those that are pushing back from it. Just there's still that fear of making a misstep or a mistake, and we help them through that transformation. But what's interesting is I'm like, well, how did you navigate to work today? Right. Well, you probably used an AI model on your GPS, or how did you order dinner last night on DoorDash? Right. It's an AI model that's behind all of that. How did you go shopping? And people are using it, whether you recognize it or not. It's in our day-to-day life, embedded today everywhere. The opportunity here is now understanding these and how you can utilize it and bring value to your job and role in your career and where that's going. I think that's what's so intriguing about this is understanding there are a lot of different forms of AI. It's not just the Gen AI aspect of it, and breaking that down is really intriguing.
Yeah, that's right. Sometimes people feel AI and generative AI were one and the same, but if you look more carefully, it's one of the ways to do AI. And there are others like reinforcement learning, which I didn't mention yet, that has been found to be very useful. The kind of models it helps us build in making them more accurate over time, because they have this kind of stick and carrot kind of learning, because humans can learn in so many ways, and one of the ways is using stick and carrot, and that's what the reinforcement learning does. And it turns out that many of the generative AI models also make use of it, and they perform much better using these techniques. So yeah, I mean, it's a variety of ways, and there might be more to it. Like in the coming years, we expect many other ways AI can simulate or mimic human intelligence, and that could be reasoning, abstraction, which we don't see here yet.
Yeah, it's a fascinating world, and just even getting to where the opportunities that are available right now is right. Like there's so much to already learn, knowing that there's a lot more coming, and that's why you've got to start now. Like you cannot miss this opportunity, which I forgot to mention at the beginning of this, which I want to get this out there right away. There is an upcoming class on August 25th, starting at Sarah's AI. That's an 8-week course that gets all the fundamentals, non-technical, no math required. And it's starting for only $99. I'm like, I don't know how Sarah's AI is offering it at that amount, but really giving the opportunity. I think that's what I love about the mission of Sarah's AI, is giving everybody the opportunity to lean into this space. And so please go to, I put the link in the comments. We'll put more information out there for everyone, but go to the sarahsai.org/learn AI, register today, because that class is coming up pretty quickly, and want to make sure everybody's aware of that. So I meant to mention that at the beginning. I wanted to make sure everybody was aware of that upcoming opportunity, just to dig in a lot more. One of the things when it comes to career exploration and moving forward, AI engineer. I want to touch on this just because I think people know there's opportunities, and this is a lot of the work we do at Tech Moms, is just demystifying the tech industry. Now it's demystifying the AI industry, because we hear it, but what does that actually mean? What does it mean to be an AI engineer? So can you go through a description of what is an AI engineer from your perspective, and kind of how your curriculum starts with the fundamentals of understanding that, and then you can move on to Sarah's offers degrees, associate degrees, and bachelor's degrees as well. But just can you explain what is an AI engineer? What would be the qualifications required?
Sure, yeah. So AI engineers, I mean, any engineer by definition are people who build things, and AI engineers are people who build AI models and also deploy them and scale them so that these models are accessible for people, for a large number of people, and they can use these models, they can depend on it and use them reliably in a very predictable way. And that takes learning a lot of skills. Many people learn just about models, but that there is this aspect of deployment,
Yeah.
and it does need understanding. So essentially, before I go into what skills you need to learn to become an AI engineer, I do want to mention that AI engineers are almost kind of replacing the most dominant role in the tech industry, particularly, which is that of a software engineer.
Yeah.
Software engineers have been the most dominant role in the market for the last 2 decades. And I believe that in the years to come, and that trend has already started and is accelerating, where software engineers will be replaced by AI engineers as the most dominant role in the tech industry today. So uh, and with that, you need these skills to get there. And
Yeah.
if you take any job posting for an AI engineer, you would see that uh, the engineers are expected to know some programming, and I particularly highlighted Python. When it comes to AI, Python is a programming language that everybody loves to use, and it's a language that is much easier to learn. It has a very easy learning curve. You can get to it, get better at it really fast, and AI helps you learn it and code as well.
Yeah. I think
So
that's what's
yes,
here's what I've seen. I want to comment on this because I love that you brought up that you're using AI to learn AI. I think that's a key call out where a lot of people have, well, I'm going to have a lot of math or I'm going to have a lot of understanding of technology already. And it's just not the case anymore. As we've transitioned our tech mom students, prior to AI, we taught them how to Google, right? You've got to learn how to learn how to Google. You don't have to know it all. You've got to learn how to go figure it out, right? And that was kind of how we were instructing. Over the last 18 months, we have seen such a shift as AI has come in to where they no longer Google it, they AI it. And they say, well, help me figure this out. Write my code for me. You don't have to know every line of code. You've got to understand the fundamentals of what you're looking to do and how to prompt it, but allowing AI to train you, learning how to have AI do it for you, like the ability and the speed in which I'm seeing the learning curve over the last 18 months to 2 years is incredible as I see these transformations expedited. And what I'm talking about, the career transformation, like it's so much easier to access these roles and jobs than ever before because of AI, which is incredible to put those things together.
I agree. Yeah, I think the in the coming months and years, we see that AI engineers will be playing a major role in all industries and all sectors. So no matter whether you're in marketing, whether you're in healthcare, retail, you name the area, and AI engineers will be helping all professionals in all these walks of life to not only automate, but sometimes we have this fear of automation, but AI also helps in augmentation. You can keep doing things the way you'd used to, but you can do it better, faster, more accurate with the help of AI models. And I think once you harness AI as an augmenter and not as an automator, I think that adds a lot of value for many, many professionals. So I think the course Hours of AI does cover many of these different ways AI can be used, not only for automating things, but also augmenting.
Yeah.
Uh, so yeah, I just wanted to mention that as well here.
And I think that's a good call out as we kind of move through some of these additional roles is that there's a lot of this fear of it's going to take my job, right? Or it's going to, but I think that I love the enhanced or augmenting existing roles and upskilling in taking your job and adding this skill to an existing role or job so that you become more relevant in the industry. Everyone should be having AI certifications on their resume. And everybody, what I find from both the job seeker and the employer's looking for those that know how to use AI, and the job seekers are looking for companies that are AI enabled. They
Right.
want to work for the companies that are offering AI productivity tools. And if your company is not doing that and you haven't upskilled your employees, you're having challenges, because I've seen it. And I was on an AI community discussion yesterday where this is becoming very common, where if a company is not offering AI within as a productivity tool to help them in their jobs, employees are using it anyway, and they're putting the companies at risk. And it's a huge challenge right now. And so I think the more we can get both the employers and the employees both upskilled at the same time and understanding the opportunities and how to implement it and leverage it, the better off we are and safer we all are in how we're using those. So let's keep this going. I thank you for like clarifying what these jobs are. Let's talk about a machine learning engineer. How is that different than an AI engineer? And then also, as we, the other jobs that are available, we're going to go through a couple of those as well. So let's talk about machine learning engineer. How is that differentiated?
Yeah, again, this is a role that has, you will see a lot when you look up the job websites. And this role has been around even before ChatGPT was there. And the main focus of machine learning engineers is deployment. They make sure that machine learning models, and today, they have kind of evolved into also including more recent like generative AI models. And the goal is, and the focus is mostly on deployment, where you take the models, you make sure that they're deployed. A lot of these models are deployed on the cloud. So, and these cloud platforms require specific skills that we do teach at Service AI Institute. In fact, we believe that learning to deploy these models first before going under the hood and learning all the math and algorithms behind it is more important. And this is how you reach out to your users, to the customers. If AI models that you just research and experiment in lab and it performs well, great, but eventually it has to reach out to your customers and your users. And that takes a lot of skill, and deployment skills are become really critical. How do you optimize it for its performance? How do you make sure that this is securely deployed and it's available 24/7 and it doesn't crash? And so all these things are something that a machine learning engineer works on.
Yeah, I love that. And I say all the time, and I think this is also a big shift that needs to happen, is that AI is not a tech initiative, it's a people initiative. Because just like you were saying, when you're deploying AI, you're not just doing AI for the sake of AI, or you shouldn't be. You're doing it to benefit your customers, to have better marketing, to have better sales, to reach out and connect with people in a way they want to be connected, right? It's productivity gains for people. And so I think that mindset shift of thinking about AI as this techie thing that doesn't apply to me is the mindset shift of like, no, it does apply to me and my role in enhancing how I'm going to work in the future. And so I think this deployment, I love that aspect of thinking about how am I going to get that and benefit the clients and people that we're working with. That's the job role, right? And understanding the technologies to how to solve that problem. So let's talk now about what is a generative AI engineer and how is that different?
Yeah, this is the newest role, and we are seeing more and more of these in the job market today. Many companies need people who particularly specialize in generative AI, and these are the people who work with text, generating large amounts of text towards a particular goal. And many companies who have a lot of knowledge base, they want to make sure that they're able to leverage all of that to create text, for example, for their marketing campaigns or for customer support or for speech related systems. Um, and these are very specific skills that machine learning engineers or AI engineers may not be able to uh, you know uh, perform until they are trained or they have learned these particular models and systems. These platforms also have their own challenges when it comes to deployment on cloud because they're very resource intensive and they, if not optimized for resource usage, they can become very
Yeah.
expensive to use. So these particular skills are what companies are looking for in a generative AI engineer. I mean, GPT-5 just came out recently, and
Yeah.
I mean it's a wonderful model. Similarly, there are a few others that came out from Anthropic and other companies. All, I mean, very powerful systems, but if these systems run your costs to the point where it's no longer
Yeah.
feasible to use, I mean, it doesn't help. So
Yeah.
generative AI engineers are the people who make sure that these systems remain they're optimized for the performance, and so that they remain feasible and they continue to help people in whatever problems they want to solve with these systems.
And it sounds like a lot of more than just the technical skills, it's understanding the business needs as
Yes.
well as the project management, time, resource. It's a lot of like time, resource, budget type work that would be tied to this, in addition to understanding the technologies and how they work and could be applied. It's that applied AI side of it, if I'm understanding that right.
Yeah, that's correct. And when we teach generative AI in our courses, we bring in projects from industry. People who make our courses, educators who make our courses, they bring these problems that they work on in industry and show with the help of case studies how you can solve problems, real world problems, using these models. There's a huge difference between when you're doing it in a lab
Yeah.
versus when you're doing it in real world. And I think that's what we encourage our students to learn and try to implement. Again, generative AI engineer it's a newer role, and I would say it's one of the fastest growing role in the market today. So
Yeah.
if you see the growth, that's we see that happening in generative AI roles the most, more than ML and AI engineer. However, number wise, I believe AI engineers are the most in
The
demand
top.
today.
So I have a question for you, because we do work with everybody's going through a transformation, right? There are some, because it exists, but the number of people are starting to enter into this space. What of these roles, I don't know if it's one of these three, or what is a great entry role into the AI space? And then what would be kind of a career progression in your mind on this AI career pathway?
So if you're just starting out, it's always good to do an internship in AI, and our programs are particularly designed to help you get that first internship. And internships in today's market, the companies they value uh, what you have done and built to be able to decide, okay, let's get you into this team to help us build something, and then you can learn along the way. The interns eventually, once they get a feel of how these things work, then it's your choice if you want to go into traditional machine learning or into the regular AI engineer role, or to something more niche, which is generative AI engineer role. So a good place to start is to start as an intern.
Mhm.
And it depends what sector you are in, and
Yeah.
we prepare our students for
Everybody's gonna
internships.
have
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
Every industry is doing AI. Every company
Yes.
is an AI company. So there's opportunities out there, and I love what you're saying. And this is something where feeling like you need to know everything before you get started is another mindset shift that needs to happen. And I see this all the time of like, well, I've got to know it all and then take the job. What you're saying and what I think the flip is get in and start doing, and you'll discover what is that pathway for you. Let's find your fit once you've got in and got some time under your belt of like how this works and how they work within the businesses, and you're going to get that mindset, and then you can find the next step from there. But just having the foundational knowledge through Sarah's AI is going to give you a level up into getting these internships and jobs and take off into these pathways. I wanted to share one story, an example, over these last few years that I've seen. We had one of our tech moms from 5 years ago that became a software developer. And as AI came on the scene about 3 years ago, she just leaned in and was like, I want to learn everything I can about this. Right. And she had gotten a job on the East Coast working in the government sector and started taking AI classes, upskilling certificates, things like that. Went to her boss and said, hey, can I become our next AI strategist? He said, yeah, let's go. I don't know this space. If you're willing to learn it, lean into it, let's do it. And it was just asking for the role, asking for that job and saying, I want to do this. I think when you just start saying, I want to know, I want to learn, give me the projects, you end up getting the opportunities even within your own company or your job right now. You don't necessarily have to leave or go somewhere else, but there are a lot of different opportunities that can come just by asking the questions and leaning into it, and then being enabled through the education, like Sarah's AI here.
Yeah,
So
there are people, very quickly, I wanted to add that, it's for people who are already in a role in industry and they want to either upskill themselves or pivot into AI related role. That is another pathway to be into AI. I mean, it just depends what your starting point is.
yeah, from wherever you're at, there's a pathway in. I
Yes.
guarantee it. I guarantee it. All right, let's continue breaking down some of these terms, because the other area, which is massive, and we do a lot of work at Rise Next just for AI agents and agentic AI and implementing some of those things. Let's talk about this space of productivity improvement and agentic AI. Can you break this one down for us?
Yeah, sure. So agents have been around in AI for a long time. However, what makes agentic AI uh, very powerful is the kind of models that power agents and the kind of tools it can speak with or connect with to take action based on what these models can do. So there is these two parts. One is learning, thinking, and reasoning. All that is great, but still no action. The moment you connect all that learning, reasoning, and thinking with tools to actually take actions, that's when it becomes agentic.
Mm-hmm.
And for example, if you are, maybe you want to ask one of the large language models, a ChatGPT, about give me an itinerary to go from point A to point B, and it can search the internet and do some analysis and thinking and reasoning and give you a nice itinerary. However, if it would be nice if it would go ahead and connect with one of the airlines, or
Mm-hmm.
book a ticket for you and put everything all together and it's ready to go. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
that takes AI to the next level, and
Yeah.
that's what agentic AI is designed to do.
Yeah, and I think, and this is one where this just came out with OpenAI, right? On their latest models of being able to take the action. They're going to have to get some of your personal information, so you got to trade that off a little bit on like how much
Yes.
you're willing to allow them to get into your personal information and your login, stuff like that. But it's coming and it's here and it's accessible to everyone, which is incredible. Where we're seeing a lot of this too, in this role within the company space and from a career space, is really automation, data and analytics, reporting, taking actions based on data, really getting into that space, and then automation tools. I'm seeing a lot of what I would call AI middleware. I don't know what you would call it, Anshuman, but I've been calling it like a middleware platform that sits between the systems and can leverage different AI models and take actions and then move them to other systems. There's a whole set of jobs and opportunities that I'm seeing in just agentic AI and automation and
Yeah.
understanding how to create those.
Yeah, what you refer to as middleware in the industry, AI industry, people refer to it as orchestration layer, AI orchestration layer.
I love the word orchestration. I wrote a book that uses that title. So yeah, I'm all about the orchestration, and there's a lot of that, of understanding how to orchestrate these processes and flows between different systems and data sets, and making decisions and optimizing. That's where a lot of the productivity gains come from.
Yes.
Within the business itself.
And for agents to be able to communicate in a secure way where your data is safe and secure, a lot of developments are happening where we can reliably use agents without any fear of compromising our sensitive data, personal data. I think the technology is there. I would say it's almost there. It's evolving. It has evolved to a point where we'll increasingly see these agents being deployed to take actions. Again, maybe it may involve human approval, but still, I believe the technology is already there. It's a matter of adoption. How comfortable we are in adopting these technologies.
Exactly. And I think the whole data privacy side of it and understanding those things, that's all incorporated within the curriculum that you're putting together. So let's talk now a little bit about key skills. So we understand the roles and some of the tasks and requirements within the job role itself. What are some of the skills that you're focusing on as someone goes through in getting their certifications and degrees that are helping them upskill within these AI engineer and related roles?
Yes, and so basically for the AI engineer role, which is the most commonly found role in the industry today, is we start the journey. The student starts a journey from learning programming, and as I said earlier, that has become easier than before because AI is your companion in that journey. And then there is another aspect, which is cloud. You see one of the items here, big data and cloud. In the past, and many other programs didn't really used to cover cloud technologies. They would let you learn on your own. But we believe that this is a very key skill to become an AI engineer. And it's very hands-on. You essentially don't need any much theory to play with cloud technologies. It's essentially all these computing that is deployed on these servers managed by some of the tech companies, and you're able to deploy those and create instances and get those running quickly. So that's another key skill. We also the language that a lot of AI models speak is that of mathematics, probability, statistics. So we want to make sure that learners also understand some of these basics of statistics, probability, linear algebra. It's only to the point that you need it for AI. If you take any regular college courses on these topics, they could cover a ton of other things that you don't need. So these are kind of tailored towards AI. There are other skills that you need, which are, we call them human skills. And some people refer to them as soft skills.
Yeah.
Yeah, and those are on the right side of the slide that we have here right now. Problem solving, communication, collaboration, and teamwork. creativity and ethical awareness, because with AI, there is always this fear of what if AI goes rogue, it does something that
Yeah.
hurts
Yeah.
people or harms people.
Exactly.
And that ethical awareness is very important, because you have a very powerful tool in your hands, and you should also have that responsibility to think about the consequences of once this thing is deployed.
Yeah.
And we do encourage our students to explore the ethical consequences of what they are doing and building. So that is another part. And I think many companies do call them responsible AI, and they do expect their engineers, because nobody wants to get in trouble for
No.
something that AI does accidentally and harms people.
Well, and I think that's why it's so important when I, and our focus on making sure everyone is understanding the opportunities in AI and leaning into them, that it's not a certain type of person, everyone, right? And what that brings is different varied experiences to be able to see when those type of ethical issues are potentially there. They can identify those when you have a more broad group within an employee base. And so I know employers, what I'm so glad that you're like, it's not just the tech, like we were saying before, AI is a people initiative, right? And it's, you still have people, you still have humans in the loop. You still need to understand how to communicate. And last year I went back to school to MIT and was doing AI product design. And the what biggest discussion that we had was the cost. When you get in, you start designing these and it's like, well, this isn't even viable. We can't even afford to do it right now. And I know the costs are coming down and that's a consideration. But the biggest issue in deploying some of these technologies is not the tech, it's the people. It's the change management, it's the communication, it's the adoption, it's the training of people how to leverage and leverage it correctly. And so, within the curriculum, I know that employers are going to be glad that you have this within this skill set of not just the tech, but the people skills in order to make sure that it goes out appropriately and the change management aspects are there. So I love that understanding. I think that's good for people to understand. It isn't just tech, right? You've got to have the human skills that are just as important as you move into these careers.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. So let's now talk about how does someone make this transition? I work with a lot of individuals that are coming from every industry, every job background you can imagine. I've had pyrotechnics, right, that have moved into tech. Drama majors, English majors, nurses, teachers, you name it. It doesn't matter. There's opportunities within this space for everyone. And so the the transition though is what's always the hardest part, is being able to clarify how does someone start creating a completely new career path across industries this way. And so let's talk a little bit about that now. And I'm gonna, just before I hand it over to you, Anshuman, I know we do have a question in the chat. I'm gonna just show this real quick. Do you have courses for school students on AI? And the answer is yes. And so that enrollment link is there for online classes. And I want to touch on this a little bit. Feel free to add on, Shaman, on the program. So the Sarah's AI Initial Powers of AI class is an 8-week course that will give you the fundamentals, a lot more deeper into like kind of the basics that we've given today, give some hands-on projects. And what I love about Sarah's is they actually do career coaching while you're in that class, so that you're going to get the hands-on career coaching side of it in addition to the skills. So finding those internships, how do you find your fit, moving into those career sides of it. So go to sarahsai.org/learn AI. I got that right, Sonia, right? So go there. It's online at your own pace for 8 weeks and just start getting the foundations there. So I wanted to make sure we addressed that here before we move on. All right, Anshuman, how do we create an entirely new career path across these?
Yeah. So if you are somebody who is, likes to work with people, understand their needs, requirements, and kind of there are roles in addition to the core technical roles. We already talked about AI engineers and data scientists and machine learning engineers. I mean, those are the core technical roles, but there are similarly many roles in the industry today, like AI product managers. These are people who understand the user needs and requirements, and uh, they're the link between the users and the engineers. They're the ones who decide what the product will look like once it is completed. So that means understanding people and their needs and their workflows and the context in which they work. There are other roles that have come up. There are people who just come in and solve this particular problem, and it's a short term, and those are consultants. If you're facing some specific problem, a consultant comes in, understands, solves it for you, and gets out.
Mm-hmm.
Those are also in great demand. If there are people I know who do a few projects in a year, and the rest of the time they upskill themselves.
Yeah. And just staying on top
Yeah.
of the technologies. I think that's one thing that we found with our consultants here at Rise Next is it's constant work just to stay up to date. And so
Yes.
companies will bring in individuals that are just digging in and figuring out how to use these technologies and consult them on it. And that's a lot of the work that we've been doing is just staying on top of what is the latest in AI, how can companies leverage it, take advantage of it. That is a great role and a freelance opportunity for those that are looking to do freelance work.
Yes, and there are plenty of opportunities like that. But as you just said, that upskilling is very important in this area because technology is moving very fast. And then we have there are specialized AI roles in industry. There are people who work as computer vision engineers. Their entire job is to figure out how for machines to be able to see like humans do, and maybe even better.
Mm-hmm.
And technology is moving really fast when it comes to understanding text and how humans see meaning in text. Although ChatGPT has developed a really good understanding of context and in a lot of things we do with it, but meaning is still, it can have many layers to it, and NLP engineers who are at the cutting edge of it are working towards going deeper in how humans understand and parse text. So there's that role as well. There's robotics, which in fact I just found out in the news that Apple is going big on robotics, AI robots.
Yeah.
And so that is coming, I think, with big
The
companies.
robots are coming. The robots.
Yes.
They're here.
Yes. They are, like there was a time when there was a lot of promise about robots, but then it got limited only to your vacuum cleaners.
Yeah.
But now we see that there's that boom again coming back.
Yeah. So I have a real life example of this. Our family's company, my husband's the CEO of a company called Firefly Automatics. It's automatics with an X, if anybody wants to check them out. They do autonomous robots. So it's like Tesla for golf courses. So they go in, they've sponsored the PGA and a lot of these different golf applications from an ag tech specialty where it's self-driving, autonomous, fully EV. They go out in the middle of the night and mow all the fairways, and heavy AI usage, right? In that space from a robotics. The robots are out there. Another area where people are like, oh no, I'm not going to be able to retire and go mow lawns. I'm like, I don't think people are doing that because they couldn't find people to do it. So it's not taking very many people's jobs, but it's making the agronomist jobs a lot easier and a huge need. Most of that company is engineering. It's heavy engineering and in addition to the manufacturing, but the AI applications in the robotic space are so exciting. And so if that's resonating for anybody, there's a lot of opportunity in that space as well.
Yeah, and as far as industries go, there are almost all industries that are benefiting from AI today. In fact, there just a very few where AI hasn't come in. Probably, people like plumbers and all that. That's the only one I know of.
Somebody
But
told me, I asked this question to a group of high school students, and they said, "Oh, a Quaker bakery," because they are not allowed to use tech. I'm like, okay, you stumped me. You got one, but not very many. There aren't many out there. So I just advanced just looking at who are the top companies hiring for AI roles. And these are some of the largest companies in the world, right? We know these names. Everybody has heard of these. Maybe you can share a little bit about what, from your perspective, where have you seen the students that have come through? Are they landing at these companies or other companies? What have you been seeing just as far as where people land in their careers?
Yes, a lot of AI work and the new products and new solutions are coming out of these companies. So definitely, this is one of the top options for students who wanna or people who wanna get into AI, numbers wise as well. But again, there is a huge ecosystem of startups because, as we know, a lot of these products initially come from startups and then they get acquired by one of these companies. So
Right.
it depends what you like. What's your style of work? If you are the kind who likes to be part of a more structured setup and more predictable timelines, and then probably one of these bigger companies are a better alternative. If you're the kind who likes to really slog and solve this one big problem, you can probably go in a startup. So it just depends on your temperament, what you
Yeah.
like.
And
But both options are there.
yeah, opportunity. The way I would look at it is like in the smaller companies, SMB space, you get the opportunity to wear a lot of different hats potentially. So
Yeah.
if you're one that like, I want to try this and this and this before you make like a final career decision, it's a great way to do that. There's more risk in some of those, right? But there's risk everywhere right now as far as longevity of careers. That's been a big shift that's happened here as well. And I think why a lot of people are looking there is disruption happening for everyone's career. There is no one untouched by this.
I do want to mention that it's not easy to crack into these companies. They're very competitive. They take some of the best talent out there. And we at Ceres AI Institute make sure that the skills that you learn when you take our courses, you also learn the skills to be able to crack into these companies, because interviewing is a skill in itself.
Right.
And just to be able to land that internship or your first job in one of these companies, you have to go through 5 rounds of technical interviews, and that is a thing in itself. So we make sure that our students are ready for that level
That
of
that
interviewing.
rigor. Yeah.
Yes.
Getting the job is a full-time job, right? And it's a whole
Right.
skill set on its
Yeah.
own of just making, but it can be done. And like we were saying, it may not be at one of these massive companies. You can have that as the long-term goal and be working towards that, but knowing that there's opportunity everywhere in this space. You go out and do a search right now on AI jobs, and you're going to get a sense for just how in demand this area is.
When I used to teach at a university before, I had students who would tell me, well, Dr. Singh, we learned all these wonderful things in your class, but, for some reason I couldn't crack that interview. So we at Ceres decided that we're going to create this special class and where students just learn these technical interview skills. And I believe that will be very helpful in cracking one of those companies there.
Absolutely. Going to an institute that's not only going to give you the key skills you need, but the life skills that go with it hand in hand. You don't find that anywhere else. We do a lot of wraparound services within our nonprofit education space as we do tech transitions, because the biggest barrier isn't typically the technical skills. It's the life, personal, interviewing, communication skills in order to get the job and just get in the door. And I think that that's powerful for putting, that combo of the tech and life skills together to be able to make sure you've got a successful transition. You're not going to find that anywhere else. I've been looking, trust me. So let's talk about, we've got about, 5 minutes left here before we wrap up today's session. Let's talk about taking those first steps with the Powers of AI course. What are you going to get out of that, and what could they expect if in this August 25th start date?
Sure. Yeah. So, I would encourage you to sign up for the course. It's an 8-week course. In every week, you learn some important aspect of AI, and the course involves a real-world project. In this particular offering, we're gonna offer students to do. They will make an AI agent, the one that we talked about earlier, and it's a very interesting hands-on experience, and that is something that stays with you. You can make it as part of your project portfolio. We do have live sessions every week, so it's not just completely self-learn kind of course. We do one live session, an hour-long live session every week, so where I will be teaching some of the concepts, give you an overview, what is expected, and there will be some assignments every week. So, and we have a team who helps our students in supporting their learning journey. So we'll be available, unlike many other courses where, once you start, you're on your own. We make sure we are with you throughout the journey.
And I
So,
think that's
yeah.
so. Just in 8 weeks, I've been seeing, like I was saying, my own son, my tech mom, just their transition and their mindset shifts that just happen in 2 months are incredible. So it is worth the $99. I'm telling you, not only the coursework you're getting and the level of coursework you're getting, but also the hands-on coaching and the life skills side of it. It is the best $99 you'll ever spend in your life. I can guarantee it. As we kind of wrap up here, I know we kind of went through week by week what individuals, I've kind of put this up on the screen so people can know what to expect when they register, what they're going to be getting out of this. What would you add as kind of we wrap up the program? The key thing you would ask or communicate, I would say, as people are looking to lean into this AI space and enable it within their careers?
Yeah, I would tell students that start your journey by building something. I mean, this is something I wish when I had started my journey, in those days, universities would teach a lot of theory, math, and, and it really they keep you waiting for quite a long time until you actually start building something. I think at Saras, our philosophy and pedagogy is to help you lead your learning through building something. So you make something, you enjoy that process, and then the pieces come together. I think you will see how all these different pieces in AI, how they come together as you try to solve a problem by building some AI model or some AI solution or a product, whatever fascinates you. So yeah, I would just that will be my tip to students, learners getting started.
Yeah, the hands-on application makes it so much more real and valuable. And we're like, oh, I built that. I can do that. All right, what's next? And the next model. And the scope of the different types of AI that you're approaching, like I was saying, not just generative AI, the Chat GPT, but building an agent and understanding voice and speech, and the different applications of AI are going to give you a broadened awareness of the opportunities that are going to help you select your next step and fit after completing the certification. I think that's the goal of this, is just to give you enough foundation to make a decision on the long-term career path for you. It's a discovery process that you're going to be going through in those 8 weeks. So I think we're at time. We fit a lot in. Thank you, Anshuman, for sharing all your knowledge in this space. I'm really excited for this upcoming cohort to start. I have a lot of our friends, some of them founders, some of them in career, some of them, business owners, to coming from all different places that are going to be part of this cohort. So it's going to be a great group coming together, and the student interactions always a plus as well. So looking forward to hearing the feedback on this next course going through. As we wrap up, hit the QR code, enroll today is going to be my call to action for everyone. If you do have any questions, feel free to reach out to myself, risenext.com. We're here to help with these transitions as well and answer any questions that you have. So with that, we're going to wrap up today's session. Again, thank you so much, Anshuman and Samya, for today.
Thank you.